and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof.
Looking, throwing in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Yes, welcome back to Sports and Sources episode 146. It is a Wednesday morning, and we go live on YouTube every Monday at 10, every Wednesday at 11, and every Saturday at 10. You can also find us on iTunes or anywhere podcasts are played, and I am one of your hosts. My name is Shane Moore,
And I'm the Brian Man.
and you can check us out on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, or you can follow the show on Twitter at Shane and Bryman. We got a lot to talk about today. Little football. We'll do a quick Monday Night Football recap. Do Thursday Night Football with the matchup with Jaguars and Titans. We'll talk about that for a few minutes. And then we have a ton of MLB Hot Stove stuff to kind of touch on. Obviously, Corbin signed with the Nationals, which is out of nowhere. And where does that leave the Yankees and some other teams as well? And then we're going to get into a couple of sorts things. We got to get into sorts because this is Sports and Sorts. So we got a great show. Let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman.
All right, let's get into Monday Night Football recap. This needs to be real short. We don't have a lot of time. We squeeze a lot in a short period of time here. Monday Night Football recap: Redskins 13, Eagles 28. That score basically indicates what happened. It was as expected. The Eagles won this game fairly easily. Colt McCoy fractured his leg. And, man, if I was butt fumble Mark Sanchez, I would watch out because there was a serious jinx. There's something going on. The karma with the quarterbacks in Washington is pretty crazy. So protect those legs. Anyway, the Redskins season should be pretty much go in the toilet from here on out.
You do not want to be a Redskins quarterback right now.
No.
You're going to break a leg. You're going to literally break a leg.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's
Mark
terrifying.
Sanchez should just be like, you know what, I'm
Well, it did go from
retired.
did go from career ending to just like out for the season. Maybe his will be like a high ankle sprain.
Maybe.
I don't know.
know.
It's terrifying though.
I'd get out of Dodge.
Yeah. You got to go in with like full on, gear for your legs down, like go on with like some sort of like I don't know, Iron Man kind of legs kind of situation.
You need some Darth Vader mechanical leg or something.
Yes. Oh, my God. It's scary. But, their season's going to pretty much go in the toilet. The Eagles hang on to stay relevant in a division that's winnable. I think that's pretty much all you need to say about this matchup that happened on Monday Night Football. I don't think a lot of people watched it. It wasn't a great game. I mean, Eagles fans definitely did. Redskins probably gave up after halftime. So I think that's pretty much all we need to say about that. What do you think?
Yeah. Watch your legs.
Watch your legs, Sanchez. Butt fumble Sanchez. Watch your legs. All right, now let's get into Thursday Night Football. Man, this is going to be a boring game. Unless you don't like to see a lot of points on the board. If you like a low-scoring game, and you like to really grind out those wins, and have smash-mouth defense, those matchups, between a 4-8 team and a 6-6 team.
I'm so confused about this game because, as you know, the topsy-turvy Titans, when they're the epitome of win some, lose some, win some, lose some. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Jags, who have been mostly bad this year. And then last week they shut out the Colts. Granted, it was at home, and it was with a suspended Leonard Fournette, who will be active and ready to go this week. I don't know what to make of this game.
They put many points on the board, though.
I just don't know what to make of this game because the Titans are, of course, given their pattern, due to win one now. Mm-hmm. And the Jags are coming off a somewhat surprising win, in my opinion. And I really don't know which way to go with this game. I'm struggling here because forget about like the logistics of who's on the field or any X's and O's. I'm just torn between like crappy storylines. The Jags were a bad team, and now they came off a surprising win against a Colts team who would really look like they were starting to get it together. And then you've got the Titans, who, again, on and off. I don't know where to go. I'm just going to give you a score, and I'll just hope for the best. Because I really don't have anything great.
Yeah, this is a really tough game to pick. Like,
it's a tough game.
If you're a betting guy, I would not bet this game.
Do not bet this game. I'd stay away from it. It's a really, really, really bad game. I can't imagine anybody. I can't imagine I'll be watching it. I mean, I might tune in a little bit here and there. We'll probably very briefly, if not talk about it at all on Saturday. So I'm not really all that concerned if I miss it. Mm-hmm. But I will say, look, again, I'm going to go with the topsy-turvy Titans because, again, they are absolutely due to win, and this is pretty much the kind of team they are, the win some, lose some. So I will go with a really ugly 17-13 Titans
so
at home. And
that's grosser than my score.
And I don't even know if. I don't even know if there'll be that many total points scored.
Oh, that's bad. So this is my prediction here. My preview of this game is, obviously it's going to be a boring game, and the key to the Jags to win this game though is to stop the run. And if they did that well in their last game, and they need to stop the run and put the ball in Marcus Mariota's hands and make him throw them to victory. That's what he needs to make. He needs to make the Titans throw, and. Because Mariota's not a good thrower. He's just not a good thrower. He has had success against the Jags, though, but it's weird success. Because in the last 3 matchups, he's 3-0. But he has only thrown for an average of 137 yards per game with 58% completion percentage. Mm-hmm. The Jags need to take advantage of that. Plus, I want the Jags to keep winning so the Bills can keep ensuring that they get a better draft pick in the upcoming draft. Because right now they are head and head. They are neck and neck.
Yeah, they're neck and neck.
And I have the Jags winning this game in a fairly boring fashion. I don't have quite that ugly of a score, but I also have an ugly score. I have 20-12. I have the Jags winning in this one, though, so I could pick up another win. And it's such a bad score, and I will probably only watch this game a little bit in the second half and just really rely on the highlights to tell me what happened in this game because I have some TV shows to catch up on, and those will be a lot more entertaining than this game. This game's going to be hot garbage, so I'm probably going to do a little bit catching up on that. And I do want to touch on real quick, Clint posted, a fellow Bills fan. I'm a Bills fan. He's a Bills fan. You're a Dolphins fan. So this isn't as relevant, but
Thanks
about
for the reminder.
You know about this news. He just posted bye Benjamin because
Kelvin Benjamin
is gone as a Buffalo Bill. He's no longer going to be on the Bills.
And Andre Holmes was cut too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I mean, we are getting all these people out that it stinks because we did give up a draft pick for Kelvin Benjamin. They expected that, with a change of scenery, things were going to be different. Unfortunately, things were actually worse, I think.
I think everybody who's picked up Kelvin Benjamin has had the same expectation. We're going to get we're going to get it out of this guy. We're going to be the team that pries it out of him.
And when it comes down to it, there's probably only 2, maybe 3 teams in the league that could get something out of him.
Probably the Patriots.
The Patriots could probably get something out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs could get something out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams, because they're high-powered offenses, and, he would get open, and he's tall, and they could utilize that. Maybe the Packers, but I doubt it, because the Packers just are in flux right now. But they do have Aaron Rodgers, so you never know. Robert Foster is the new hotness. Okay, so I think that's enough about the Bills. We can stop talking about the Bills.
So what he's saying is
not all that relevant right now.
So what he's saying is Kelvin Benjamin is old and busted, and Robert Foster is the new hotness. Old and busted, new hotness.
I like
It's a good Men in Black.
I like it. I like your style. Good stuff. All right. So let's get into. I think we don't really need to focus anymore on the NFL, right? I mean,
No.
we touched on that, got the key kind of the talk out of it. I mean, there wasn't a lot of big moves.
Let's get to the big stuff.
The creme de la creme,
Yeah.
which is,
Play ball!
and of course, we can fit some of this in there.
The state of the Yankees.
Indeed.
So, they're going to talk a little MLB Hot Stove here. Patrick Corbin signed with the Nationals, which came out of nowhere. So much so, I was actually listening to the MLB Network on Sirius XM, and one of their hosts actually apologized for the station. He said that it was their bad that this blindsided them. All the reports were saying Yankees or Phillies, and this really blindsided them. And he's like, "I'm sorry. Like this is our bad." We were contacting everybody, and it seemed like it was either going to be Yankees or Phillies, which everybody on the planet globe thought it was going to be Phillies or the Yankees. And out of nowhere, the Nats came in and gave them that 6th year, and
that was
the
it.
140. And 6 years, $140 million deal. I can see why he went there.
Sure.
That was a lot of extra money.
Yeah.
That was a lot of extra money to be left on the table.
$40 million more than I think either the Yankees or the Phillies offered. I think the Yankees and the Phillies were both at around 5 years and $100 million.
Yes, and now that we wipe our hands clean of Corbin, which is a move I'm sure he will regret. If one of his main goals is to win and compete for championships, he will likely regret this decision. Maybe not in year one.
He's not going to regret the financial side of it. That's for sure.
But that he grew up as a Yankee fan. His brother, I think his brother is a diehard Yankee fan too. He wore a Yankee
the whole
fan.
wedding toast thing. Yeah.
So I would have to say that he's going to regret the decision probably by year 3 because he is in a tough division. The Nats offense isn't as good as they were last year. Yeah. The fairly new manager, Dave Martinez, who underperformed last year quite a bit, couldn't take this Scherzer, Strasburg, and Gio Gonzalez, rotation with Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto. They had that team. They went 82-80. Yeah. And the division is just getting better. The Mets are improved.
Right. Actually, last year, of all years, should have been the year for the Nationals to really dominate that division because the Braves and the Phillies are both very young, and the Mets are a disaster.
Right. And the Phillies are more going on their way down. And I think the biggest thing that we need to say to Corbin is that your decision to go to the Nationals.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It is. I agree.
As far as in championships and all that stuff and winning goes, I don't know if this is going to work out for him. And I can see his brother in year 2 and 3 giving him some digs. Hey, I see you got this new boat. But how's that 3rd place and 4th place finish treating you?
It could be 4th because you know what? The Mets are actually getting better, incrementally better by the day.
Mm-hmm. And they have said they are still making moves.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what? I know we poked a lot of fun at Brody Van Wagenen or whatever his name is.
We sure did.
He is. I'll tell you what, though. He seems like I watched him during that press conference when they introduced Cano and Diaz. And other than seeming maybe like a little bit nervous because it was probably his first big press conference, he seems like a very direct guy and a guy who's kind of no nonsense and is going to make some bold moves. If you're a Mets fan, you should like what you're hearing and seeing out of him, at least early on. And I know like a lot of Met fans wanted to kill that trade just because Met fans, that is their desire, is just to trash that team, and that's understandable. But when you really start to break down that trade, you'll realize it was not a bad move. It might even qualify as a good move. But as far as Patrick Corbin goes, and I tweeted this yesterday, and I completely stand by it. At 6 years and $140 million, I don't believe the Yankees dodged a bullet. I believe they sidestepped a missile. Whoa. Because I would not want any part of that guy at that kind of money. The years maybe don't bother me too much.
He doesn't have a long track record of success, but he has been improving every year.
But you have to understand something. They just paid $140 million for a guy who not only has he never pitched a playoff game, but in 2017, the Diamondbacks opted not to give him the ball in the playoffs when he was active and healthy. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you? He has not pitched a play. It's a little nerve-wracking. It's a red flag.
Yeah, but it's not like the Arizona Diamondbacks are known as this great organization that always makes awesome decisions.
But come on. I mean, but the guy earlier in his career had given you every reason to believe that he's the kind of person you want to hand the ball to in the playoffs. Yeah. That's not rocket science. I don't know. That screams a little bit to me as a red flag. Now, am I a little disappointed the Yankees didn't get him? Yeah. I mean, he would have been my preference because I really would have liked the righty-lefty balance of the rotation. Not that that can't still happen. If they get Hap, then you still have that at least for a few more years. But Corbin, obviously being, he'll go into next season as a 29-year-old. He's 7 years younger than Hap, with a really great slider. I mean, the guy's got good stuff, but to me, 6 years at 140 was too much. And the other thing that this signals to me too, is that, and I was a little bit actually more surprised by the Phillies coming in at only 5 years and $100 million, because I thought the Phillies earlier in the day had made this comment like, we're not going to be outbid.
Right.
Well, you were not only outbid, but you were blown out of the water.
Yeah.
So.
And that's how it happens from time to time. I mean, in these hot stove season, people, that really are trying to reach to win, they end up spending a little bit more money and they get themselves into financial issues. I mean, the Yankees did that for a while.
Yeah.
They got themselves into some financial issues, and it took us several years to kind of correct that. We finally did, but took a long time.
What I think is interesting though from the Yankees' perspective is, not surprisingly, Brian Cashman there was a player he desired. He put a particular value and a particular lifespan on that player, 5 years and $100 million. He was not going to deviate from that. But what this tells me is that, one, he knows that there are other options out there. He does. I mean, you could turn to a Nate Eovaldi, you could turn to a J Happ. You could, again, re-examine the trade market with guys like Mad Bum and Carrasco and Kluber. And I'm sure there's other guys that will be made available at the winter meetings, names that we haven't even heard of or thought of, because that's always how it goes down, right? Mm-hmm. You already have James, and I think the thing that made this a little bit easier for Cashman and probably for Yankee fans to swallow is that you already have James Paxton in hand. So your top three pitchers in your rotation are set. You know that. Let's not talk about CC as a fourth or even a fifth, because I'm not completely convinced that that's going to be the case yet, at least as far as him being the fifth. We know there's going to be another guy that's going to slot ahead of CC. It's just going to be a question of who.
And if not sliding two people ahead of him in there.
Exactly. That's why I'm not even technically including him in the rotation yet. Mm-hmm. But what the second thing that this tells me is that if they are only allotting that kind of money to Corbin, and they were probably thinking if he takes it, great. Wow, we got him on a hometown discount. Awesome. Yep. If he doesn't, we're going to go get a lesser pitcher that's going to cost us not nearly as much. And we're probably going to throw some money at a big free agent now. Maybe something that we weren't originally going to do. And this makes me think now, because not that the Nationals are out on Bryce Harper, but let's remember, they offered him a 10-year, $300 million deal that he turned down. So it's going to cost at least that much for the Nationals to get him. It's going to cost more than that. Are you telling me the Nationals are going to go spend another $300 million plus on Bryce Harper when you've already thrown 140 at Corbin? In my opinion, Harper is gone. He is not going to be a National again. That removes a landing spot for him. To me, now, so you still have Machado and Harper out there, and I believe both of those are going to get resolved next week at the winter meetings. Bottom line is, I think the chances of the Yankees landing one of those guys has gone up quite a bit. I don't know which one. You could make arguments that either is a fit, but the bottom line is one of those two guys is much, much more likely to land in New York than he was 24 hours ago. Because the Yankees, let's say they sign Hap, okay? That's going to be probably 3 years in the $45 million range.
Yeah, he's going to get somewhere between like 14 and 16 range.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I think 3 and 45 is probably pretty fair market value for him.
I think you're going to get for 14, but yeah.
You're going to get a couple of relievers, and yes, they'll cost you a little bit too, but not, nothing out of control. To me, that still leaves them with a lot of money to spend. And if they can get a Machado or a Harper at a maybe slightly discounted rate because both of those guys supposedly want to play in New York, And when I say slightly discounted, I mean like maybe you get Harper at like 8 years and $270 million or something like that, as opposed to the 10-year and all that crap. But both the guys are still going to be in the $300 million range. But maybe you get it like a little bit under. It makes it like a little bit more aesthetically palatable, as opposed to the $300 million. But the way I see it now, I almost don't see a scenario under which the Yankees don't walk away with one of those guys. I mean, I'm hoping they don't. I really would just. I would rather just see. And I know you're not a big Eovaldi fan, but I've kind of warmed up to Eovaldi. No. I'd like them to just go get Eovaldi, go get 2 relievers, sign Marwin Gonzalez, and call it a winter. But let's remember something. These are still the Yankees, and the Yankees showed you last year that they are still capable of being the Yankees when they made the trade for Stanton. I mean, it was essentially a free agent signing. I know it was a trade, but it was such a dump by the Marlins that it might as well have been a free agent signing. So the Yankees are still the Yankees. They are still capable of doing this kind of thing, and they will do this kind of thing, and they will occasionally rope-a-dope other teams into thinking we're not going to go big game hunting, but they very well might. And I mean, I don't know which one of these guys is the better fit. I mean, it's probably Machado, but I would probably be a little bit more shocked if they didn't walk away with one of those guys by the time the winter meetings is over than I was surprised by Corbin not signing.
See, I would be shocked if they really went hard after either one of those guys. I'd actually think that Bryce Harper actually makes a better.
I agree.
I think you make a better case.
Hard, but I think one of them could fall to them.
And I think Harper.
Remember, there's only so many teams that can afford those guys,
right?
Too.
And I understand, but there's teams that could spend just as much, if not more, money than us. So I think if there is a guy,
Phillies are going to get one of them,
right? Probably. And I think it really makes sense for the Phillies to get Machado. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to go after Harper. It makes them more sense to go after Machado. And I think that the Yankees, it makes more sense for them to go after Harper because they need to fill the void at first base. He's an athlete. He's going to pick up first base. Not super quick. But none of our first basemen were good to begin with. They were never really good defensively.
I mean, if you're sold on Voit and Bird,
right. Voit is a void at first base. He's not a good first baseman. He's going to make a lot of errors over at first, which no matter how good your infield is, if they're not getting balls picked and stuff like that, it's going to have a lot of errors. Yeah. But then you have Bird, who hasn't produced, and I think it's time to see if he can play somewhere else, maybe in the National League somewhere, and that's fine. Yeah. He's a decent first baseman. He's above average first baseman. He's not great, and I think that Harper could probably get to an above average first baseman skill set, and he plays hard, so he's going to work his butt off to be good at first base. So
the other thing is that would add some years to his body. It
would add years. To
do it at such a young age too, to have him be 26 and to put him at first. I mean, you're gonna get, I would think, a lot more offensive production.
You're gonna get a lot of production in that lineup in general. I mean, he's gonna walk a ton. He's gonna hit a lot of home runs.
He'll walk a lot in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, his on base percentage is gonna be 450 at least in that lineup. It's just
because he was in a down year last year. I think his on base was 388.
Was it even that low?
And that was in I think it was that low. That is low for him, but that's in a down year.
Yeah, and he still had a decent year.
Nowhere near the protection that he would have in New York.
But as far as the Yankees go, I mean, as far as starting pitchers, I think J.A. Happ, I'd be shocked if the Yankees don't get J.A. Happ at this point in time. I think they put out their number for Corbin, and I understand why the Yankees didn't go much higher than that for Corbin. It was weird for it not to happen though. Like, as far the love for Andy Pettitte,
it was weird. Weird.
Him wanting to be a Yankee and all that kind of stuff.
I think you and I both thought it was like a done deal. I thought it was a done deal.
It was weird. It was weird that it didn't work out, but it didn't. Now I think they move on to Plan B, which is J.A. Happ. And I don't think they're going to look at Dallas Keuchel. I think Keuchel probably is looking. He might be a Cincinnati Red. There might be a chance that he goes there. He's not. I don't even know if he's going to stay in the American League. So,
I'd stay away from him. I mean, I like him. If this had been Dallas Keuchel of a couple of years ago, or
if you're the Reds, it's kind of like you need something.
You need and
he's not gonna command the $140 million. He's the second tier. From Corbin, he's not. He'll probably be like 5, maybe 4 and 90, something like that. You could get him probably for that.
I could see the Reds having to go to 100 on him.
Well, maybe because it's Cincinnati, maybe.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like
he's going to be 31 next year. He's already kind of started to decline.
Well, the decline is there. It's scary. I would stay away from him.
Yeah. So J.A. Happ is the guy I think they go to. I mean, he's on a decline as well. I know he pitched like lights out with the Yankees last year, but that was like Aaron Small. Like he pitched in New York and he just went on a streak and just went absolutely dominated the league for some weird reason. That's not who J.A. Happ is. He pitched better than he's ever pitched in his life last year with the Yankees.
It's going to help him. It's going to help him get a 3. I mean, some team might even throw 4 years at him.
They might,
and
that's
insane.
That's good for him because 40. I'm not taking anybody's contract into 40 as a pitcher, even if you are a lefty.
No.
Unless your name is like Madison Bumgarner or Clayton Kershaw or something like that. Then maybe
or Tim Wakefield or Charlie Huff. I mean, if you're a knuckleballer and you can throw into your 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
Or
otherwise, no.
Yeah. Or what was his name? Jamie. For the Mariners, he pitched until he was 47.
Oh, Jamie. Jamie Moyer. Jamie Moyer.
Yes, Moyer.
Yes.
Yeah, unless you're him.
He had a rubber arm.
Yes, he did. So, J.A. Happ makes sense. Now it's where do they go after this? Because there are still a lot of pitchers that are on the market. You have Charlie Morton, who's available. You have Gio Gonzalez, who's available.
Charlie Morton, isn't he deciding whether or not to retire even? I mean,
he's available. He's available.
Yeah, I
Charlie
like
Morton's
him.
Available.
But, I
Gonzalez is available.
But...
Lance Lynn is available.
Oh, God, please stay away from Lance Lynn.
Derek Holland. This is a guy you loved.
I
Derek
did,
Holland.
But we saw what happened. It just wasn't. No.
Drew Pomerantz. There's a lot of arms out there.
I don't want Drew Pomerantz.
There's a lot of arms out there. Yeah, but is that sixth guy?
Oh, if they really are going to do
if they're going to go 6-man rotation, that's what I am all in on 6-man rotation with this rotation. Their arms need it. They need a 6-man rotation. That's why I can't harp on that enough. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of guys that are available. And this is the great thing about
I'd rather
Patrick
take a chance on Chance Adams
the great thing about going without Corbin is J.A. Happ is now going to cost you a lot less money. Obviously, that frees up to do some other things. And you're going to be able to do things like grab J.A. Happ. If you decide you don't need another pitcher, which is beyond me. I mean, you do have Chance Adams. He could be another guy, but I like having those lefties, like a Derek Holland or even a Gio Gonzalez for a short-term contract. How old Gio Gonzalez is going to be? How old is he going to be? He's going to be 33, so you can probably get him on a 2-year deal. And then you have Derek Holland, who's relatively young. He's 32. Those are guys that as a 4, 5, or 6, that's not a bad deal. And then if you go all the way down after all of those starting pitchers go, now because you saved the money on the Corbin deal, you could possibly get Robertson and Britton.
Yeah.
And that would be huge. This is a rotation. I like I said, I can't harp on this enough. They need to get rest.
Yeah.
CeCe's not going to pitch 175 innings, which is not even what a starter.
Be lucky if you get 100.
You'd get 130, right? 140 maybe.
Wow, I'd sign up for 140. Oh my God.
And then you have Masahiro Tanaka, who you want him around the 175 to 180 realm. Then you have Severino, who you want less than 200 because obviously he proved last year. I mean, granted, he's still very young, so he could get stronger.
Paxton has never gone beyond 160.
160, and that was his high. And then you have Severino, who actually has, but he really struggled in the second half, whether he was tipping pitches or not. He didn't have the command, didn't have as strong as command. Yeah. So it really makes sense to me. 6-man rotation, bolster up the bullpen.
I'm not against it.
And go that route. I do, and the problem with Robertson is I don't want to pay him for 4 years. He's 34. I understand relievers don't have as many innings on their arm and all that kind of stuff, but he's 34. He pitched well last year, but not great. He had a low WHIP, but a decent ERA. I don't love it. I would give him maybe 2 or 3 years. But I can't go to that 4th. I can't do it. I don't know if that's what he's looking for. But then you have the other people out there, other not so great relievers, but decent relievers, like someone like a Justin Wilson. We're familiar with him. He pitched well out of the pen for a couple different teams. Zach Britton, obviously, is my main go-to guy for this this coming season. And Andrew Miller is also available. If you have Andrew Miller and Britton,
oh wow, that'd be awesome. I think
there's the money available now.
I think they're going to look at Adam Ottavino too from Colorado.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
I think he's going to get some consideration.
Yeah, I think he's going to get some consideration from a lot of teams. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston was too, and I'm sure Boston are looking at both Robertson and Britton. So that's one thing. I mean, I'd hate to see either or both of them go there. That would suck.
I would particularly hate to see Britton go there. Robertson, I could be okay with because he gives up the fly. He's been giving up the long ball. He hasn't been quite as stellar, and that Houdini act is less, Houdini and more local guy at TGI Fridays, magician guy. But he is good. He is good. I would gladly take him back, but at the right price for the right amount of years.
Yeah.
So, what else? What else do we have on the table here? Did anyone want to talk about any other moves that have been made? I mean, the Mets still are in. They're looking at, like, who are they looking at for? Are they looking at Grandal or Gomes? Which one are they looking at? I don't remember which.
No, not Gomes. Gomes already got
signed,
Gomes
right?
He was traded, right?
Traded, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about Cleveland. The trades with Cleveland. Possible trades with Cleveland with the Yankees and all these other teams.
Kluber.
Yeah, Carrasco, Kluber,
and
even Bauer. They've even thrown Bauer out there.
Yeah, Bauer's out there.
I don't want Bauer at all.
I wouldn't want Bauer.
Hate him.
I'd want Carrasco, to be honest. I'd really want Carrasco.
Just
because he's younger. Yeah. He's younger, and I love his stuff. His stuff is electric.
The one problem with this trade, with the Carrasco trade, or the Bauer trade, or the Kluber trade, whatever, one of these teams, and the Indians have made this announcement that they want one of these guys to be able to take the salary from Kipnis.
Yeah, they want Kipnis, yeah. So you got to take Kipnis on.
Would that be worth it to get Carrasco for not as many prospects? But now you get that second baseman who's actually a really good second baseman.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a good fit for the Yankees. Look, I know Kipnis,
especially early on, because even if you want Gleyber Torres to play short.
I mean, look, the Mets just did this. Okay. Well, not anywhere near to the extent. I mean, the Mariners just did this, but nowhere near to the extent. I mean, that was Cano's contract dwarfs Kipnis's.
Yeah.
Kipnis, I think, is only carrying 1 year and $17 million left, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they're just trying to get some 1 year relief, you only have to carry that contract for a year.
Yeah.
And you could get Carrasco for less. I'm all over that.
And you could potentially make a trade at the deadline with Kipnis, because you can move Gleyber back to second, and then Didi comes in. So you could potentially, if he's having a good year, you could. If he's having a good year, you could. But he's a scrappy guy. It's kind of the guy that you want on your team.
I wouldn't want to move him though if he was playing well,
But he also, the last few years, you're looking at like a 230 average. Which is something that we don't want. I mean, that's Neil Walker 2.0. We're going to get a little bit more power, better defense, but still a lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks. So it's tough.
I do like Kipnis though. I do, and I think maybe in the Yankee lineup, maybe he'd see more pitches. I would have to assume he'd see more pitches.
Yep.
I'd be okay with that if Carrasco was to return, and I don't even know if I could speculate what the prospect haul would be, because there is a salary dump involved.
It wouldn't be a lot.
It definitely wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, are you getting Florial? No way.
No way.
You're not getting Florial. They're not getting
Chance Adams. They're not getting those guys. They're getting
they might
guys.
They might get
$17 million dump.
It's a big dump. Yeah, I took a bigger dump this morning, but it's a big.
I knew you were going there. I could see the wheels turning.
Oh yeah, they were.
Like, you were like, should I say it? Should I say it? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going.
Yeah, I did. No,
I'm crossing the line.
Yeah, no, I went there. It's a we toe the line on PG-13. So, but I would do it. I would do it. It just depends on what they're gonna. I would imagine too that's a trade that would happen next week, because that's a winter meeting kind of deal right there.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that, Cashman would be all in on a guy like Carrasco. Now, if they got Carrasco and Kipnis, and there was just, and you're only giving up a couple of prospects, man, that makes this rotation really good. Really good.
Yeah. And I would like to, and the thing that I would like to know is, there are a lot of, we have a lot of Yankee fans, that kind of listen to the show and watch the show. And I would like to know who they would want as the offseason guys. Would they trade for Carrasco, Bauer, Kluber? Who would they go for? Would they take on the salary dump? Would they just give more prospects to not have to take the salary on so they could free it up more towards like bigger name prospects and things like that? Would you rather have Harper or Machado? Those are the kind of things that I would like to see. Is some bigger. I want to have some other opinions out here. I would like to know what you guys have to think, because obviously I think 6-man rotation is very detrimental. That is what they need to go to. They obviously have shown over the last 2 years. This isn't just like we saw for 3 months that they need to kind of expand their rotation. No, this has been going on for years now, where Masahiro Tanaka needs to have some time off. He pitches better. CeCe pitches a lot better when he has some time off. You could probably even keep him off the DL. If you went to a 6-man rotation, he might give you 140 innings if he's getting 6 days rest.
Hey, here's a thought. What would you think about including, I don't know if the Indians would do it, because if the idea is to dump salary, I'm not sure they'd want to do it, but what if you put Sonny Gray in that trade? That way, they're getting back a pitcher, but then, of course, they're taking on his $9 million, so it's really only like an $8 million net saving. But you are getting a major league ready pitcher in return with a good track record and a guy who's still in his late 20s.
That possibly happening.
Yeah. I mean, and it keeps them competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still going to win that division. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If they lost Carrasco but picked up Sonny Gray and dumped Kipnis' salary, they're still winning that division. I know the White Sox have outrageous amounts of money to spend.
Yeah.
But the White Sox are not going to come back that quickly. I mean, the Tigers are a mess. It's just the Twins are
they're bad, but they sometimes they just put it together and make a run like the A's did last year.
There's no reason the Indians outside of injury would have no excuse not to win that division, regardless.
Yeah, I mean they
really wouldn't. And I'll tell you, and then if you're the Yankees, boy, from that perspective, then you're only picking up $8 million. Can you imagine if the Yankees were able to address 2 rotation spots and get guys like Paxton and Carrasco and have it almost cost them like nothing?
That would be amazing.
Because they were trades. Paxton's salary was offset by Gray's. I don't even know what Carrasco makes. So, I mean, Carrasco can't have a huge contract yet.
I'll look it up in a second.
But then but Kipnis does fill a need, because yes, you could put him at second and you could move Gleyber to short. Didi comes back, and then Kipnis could be, you can use him. You could put him at first base too. He could give guys a blow at first. I tell you what, it's not ideal, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I can get Carrasco, it's just like the Mets deal. Yeah, we'll take on Cano. We're getting the best closer in the game in Diaz.
Yeah. I
mean, and if you're the Yankees, we are getting a potentially top flight starter with electric stuff. We just have to take on Kipnis for a year. I don't know. I'm kind of all over that, because I think it just makes too much sense for both sides. I would imagine too that if Cashman had his choice between Kluber and Carrasco, my guess is he would go Carrasco just because he's younger. And his stuff, again, what's up?
He's got, so for 2019, he's going to make 9.7.
Okay.
Which is basically what Sonny Gray makes.
Yeah, right.
And then you dump in Kipnis as well. No, and then the next year he's 9.5.
Oh, so he's got some control too.
I guess, yeah. That's what it says here.
Anything else beyond that?
It's a club option. So yeah, he's got control.
Is there, anything else beyond?
No, then he's a free agent in 2021, but he's 34 at his free agent year. That's old. Yeah. That's old to be a first, like have a real big, like your big contract. He's not getting a huge.
It's not going to be a big contract. No. Yeah.
He's making good money. 9.7 and then 9.5.
Do you have his numbers from last year? I'm just curious.
Yes.
I'm curious.
They were good. They were really good. He was a silent contender.
Yeah,
I believe. So he had 30 starts.
Okay.
He 192 innings, struck out 231 batters, 17-10 with a 3.38 ERA.
I mean, that's.
I'm not sure if he was a Cy Young, but I know he pitched pretty darn well.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Oh my God, I would take him right now. I'd take him in a heartbeat. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
No,
I'm really.
He wasn't last year, but the year before. The year before he was the fourth. He was the fourth runner, so he was fourth overall in Cy Young voting. So in his 30th year, he's 18-6 with a 3.29 ERA.
So he's 30. Is he 31 now?
He's 31 right now. Yeah.
31 now. Okay.
Yeah. He is. Yeah. So he's 31 right now. He will be 32 in. Where is it? He'll be 32 in March.
Yeah. Okay. So he'll hit 32 starting the season. But I mean, still, you've got him for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. You got Paxton for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. Tanaka, you still have under contract. You still and Severino, you're gonna.
He basically pitched just as well last year as he did the year before.
I mean, you'd have to like their rotation for the next couple of years.
Yeah, you can't complain at that point in time.
If they got
Carrasco and then Kipnis to fill the void until Didi comes back, and then because with Kipnis I know I don't want to trade Andujar. I really don't. But it really makes the most sense to trade if you're trying to find somebody, whether it's a pitcher or something along those lines.
Look, again, I'll say this again. If Andujar is going to be dealt, then the name that I have to hear back on the other end has to be Mad Bum because it has to be part of a larger package. Yeah. I'm not, you know what, I like Carrasco, but I'm not dealing Andujar for Carrasco. Mm-hmm. Unless Kipnis is not involved in the deal, but even then, I really am not crazy about that. I really don't want to deal Andujar unless the name on the other end is Madison Bumgarner. If it is, then fine, you can have him. You can take a few other guys.
I know the Phillies are looking at him now, too. The Phillies are interested in Mad Bum. They're trying to kick the tires.
Oh yeah,
on that too, which makes sense.
That's not surprising.
But I mean, come on.
Phillies are going to be in on everything, man.
The Phillies are in everything. They are really making some noise this offseason. I mean, who do you think, as of right now? I would like to know what everybody else thinks. Who's won the offseason so far? We haven't even really hit it hard.
Well, so the Phillies got rid of Santana. I mean, that's addition by subtraction right there.
Yeah.
They got Segura. Mm-hmm. And then who did they get just before that? What was the other move? They made another big move. Didn't they make another big move before that? Is it just Segura?
I thought so.
Oh, I thought they had made another signing or something a week before. Maybe not. But okay. I mean, but if the big
the Mets made good moves. They made some good moves.
Yeah, and every one of these things that we're going to talk about is at the expense of the Mariners because they're just they're just blowing it up. So I mean, look, the Yankees so far have Paxton. Mm-hmm. That's either their number 2 or their number 3. My guess is he's their number 2. Then you've got Segura to the Phillies, which is a great acquisition. And again, you got rid of Santana, so big, again, addition by subtraction. And then you've got Cano and Diaz to the Mets. I mean, I don't know. You can make an argument for any one of those 3 teams.
Yeah, I think now, as of right now, the Phillies and the Yankees will probably have the better offseason. But I will say that it's close. It's very close because the Mets are there, but their team isn't as good. So I think that I think the moves that were made and the money that's still readily available to the Phillies and the Yankees, I think that's what makes them the winners so far. And I think that we're going to find out who the real winners are over the next.
Yeah, because the Mets just assumed a lot of salary.
Yes, so. They assumed a lot of salary. Yes, they're willing to spend a little bit more, but still, they're not going to be able to make a splash on Harper and Machado. And if they do, holy crap, that would be insane.
I mean, technically speaking, you could say the Yankees outside of CeCe and Gardner have spent no money because Paxton is going to be a wash when Sonny Gray is traded.
Right.
So that one salary will erase the other.
And then if they get Carrasco, I mean, that's not a big. That's not. That would be huge. I mean, there are some ways that they could really, really make a huge, huge signing. I'm getting phone calls from California.
I'll tell you, if they can, I'd rather have. Now, I'm sure though that the Indians would rather. My guess is they'd rather dump Kluber to the Yankees. 1, he's a little older. 2, he makes more money. Plus, if you package him with Kipnis, then you're really dumping some salary.
I don't think Cashman will make that move.
But theoretically, and I don't want him either, though, and I would guess that Cashman would be way more interested in Carrasco, but theoretically, the prospect haul would be even less.
Yeah.
So you're probably getting him for like nothing.
Yeah.
Very, very little. I mean, because you're just dumping a ton of money to the Yankees. I don't know what Kluber's making. I'm guessing it's probably the same as Kipnis, but with probably a couple of more years of control.
We only have about 15 seconds. I'll find out. And that's
okay.
Kluber.
Oh
they wanted me to change it to Blubber.
Kluber.
He is making 17.
Yeah, I knew he was making
2
17
million. He's controlled for 2 more years. They are both club options, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So 17.2, then 17.5, and then 18. Which, if he's pitching at a Cy Young level,
but then
that's
worth it. That's
so worth it. But if he's pitching kind of like how he did towards the end last year, but then again, 6-man rotation.
My guess is that the Indians would rather dump Kluber.
Oh, of course.
Because you're just dumping a ton of salary. Yeah. But then you can't ask. I mean, if you're going to dump him and Kipnis, and you're dumping $34 million on the Yankees, you cannot ask for much in return. You really can't.
Right.
You can't ask for that much.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Yankees gave Sonny Gray back, that would help.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the prospect haul still can't be crazy.
No, you can't do much after that at that point in time. Because he's, like I said, the good thing is that he's got club control after the next 2 years. But still, that's still a large chunk of money.
It is.
That's a large chunk of money.
I mean, you would love to be able to pay out the club control money because then that means it's pitched well to the point where you want to keep him.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's pretty much it for our hot stove talk. I mean, we really went in for a good at least 20 minutes, it seemed.
It was a deep dive there.
Yes, it was. So now we're going to head on over to...
Where do you think you're going? I'm going to sort it out.
What are we going to do?
Swords!
Swords!
All right, so I just want to talk real quick. MCU, was it Captain Marvel, dropped his second trailer.
Yes. Yeah.
It was good. It was a good trailer.
It's good.
I'm looking forward to the movie. It looks very similar to a lot of their other movies. You know,
I mean,
it's going to be a little funny here and there, and going to have a lot of action. It's going to be good.
Look, bottom line, Marvel has a very, very solid template for what they do.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to believe that Captain Marvel won't be when it comes to like a Rotten Tomato score, somewhere between an 85 and a 92, something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be good. You know, it'll be good. They'll do well. The trailer looks good. Brie Larson looks good. She always looks good. She's attractive.
She's talented. She's a talented lady.
Yeah, she is. She is. I actually liked her a lot in Kong, the Skull Island movie.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
She was good in that.
Pretty good movie. She's a talented actress.
Yeah, she is.
She was good. Was it 21 Trump Street or 22? Which I can't remember which one it was. She was in that movie too.
She was in
21.
It was in 21. Yeah.
Yeah. She was good in that too.
Yeah.
She's a good actress.
She was.
She's very versatile, which it works perfectly in the Marvel universe.
Yes. No, I think it looks good. It looks like a solid flick to me.
I'm going to see Creed 2 tonight.
Oh, very good.
In XD, in the big theater. Yeah, so I get to see see some boxing in all its glory.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going with my brother. My brother, the judge. He's going tonight. He's done a commercial for us. We're going to be working on some more stuff. I don't know what he's got in the works. You know, he's a little recluse from time to time. It's tough to get in contact with him. He just kind of falls off the grid, and then I'll text him, "Hey, brother, how's it going? What you doing?" And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I think he had some issues because his house. He doesn't have good cell service. So like you'll text him, and then like a day later, when he leaves his house, you'll get a text message back.
Okay.
So it happens sometimes. But I'm also going with Ronnie, your fellow Spurs fan.
Oh yes, okay.
Yes, I'm going to be going with him. So us three are going to North Haven to go check out the movie tonight. And
very nice.
We'll let you know how it was. I mean, obviously it came out a couple weeks ago, but
you're going to be up in Callahan country there.
Mm-hmm.
At the what is that? That's the AMC, right?
It's an AMC
Cinemark,
yeah.
Cinemark. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's good.
Very nice.
I like
let me know. Well, let us know how it is on Saturday.
Yep. I used my free pass because I have the Cinemark thing that they do, so I get a free pass every month, and I use it tonight. Yeah, it's good.
Very
I get to
nice.
see an XD movie. It's gonna be fun. I get a little discount on the snacks.
I got rid of Movie Pass, and I switched over to something called Cinemia.
Yeah,
which
you were telling
basically
me you talked about that. Yeah.
It basically works the same way it does what MoviePass was supposed to do.
Which was
so
work.
it's 3, except I don't have to worry about blackouts or certain times or movies being available. It's every movie. It was $9 a month. You paid it all up front. So I'm set for
MoviePass is the MySpace of social media.
I think it is. Because much like it won't exist much longer either. So, but so speaking of sorts, I wanted to.
I was looking forward to it. I have no idea what this is about. I have zero idea.
There's a couple of things here. Did you see this thing yesterday? So PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, this is you have many animals.
I do. But I tell you, man, I don't know if this was tongue-in-cheek or if they're, dead serious about this. I mean, CNN actually put a story out about it, and they made it sound like PETA's really mad.
Yeah.
So PETA puts out this tweet. It says, "Words matter. And as our understanding of social justice evolves, our language evolves along with it. Here's how to remove speciesism from your daily conversations." Okay, so stop using anti-animal language. They've got this chart, okay?
Okay.
So it says stop using anti-animal language. So instead of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, feed 2 birds with 1 scone. Instead of be the guinea pig, be the test tube. Really? Instead of beat a dead horse, feed a fed horse. And this is the one that caused a lot of controversy.
Overeating is okay, PETA? Overeating is okay.
Right, exactly. You're gonna what are you gonna do? You're gonna sew the horse's butthole together and keep eating it and feeding it and feeding it? Instead of, this was the one that was kind of highlighted, bring home the bacon, bring home the bagels. And last, but certainly not least,
bagels don't taste anywhere near as good as bacon.
Instead of take the bull by the horns, take the flower by the thorns. And then underneath it says, just as it became unacceptable to use racist, homophobic, or ableist language, phrases that trivialize cruelty to animals will vanish as more people begin to appreciate animals for who they are and start bringing home the bagels instead of the bacon. Wow. PETA. I mean, really try to
that doesn't make
step
sense.
up their... Doesn't, Ron. I'm with you. PETA, I don't know. PETA try to step up their game here. Get socially active.
Just read those things one more time.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I just want to hear the... Sure. Yeah.
Instead of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, feed 2 birds with 1 scone.
Say what?
Instead of be the guinea pig, be the test tube.
That doesn't make sense.
Instead of beat a dead horse, feed a fed horse.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Instead of bring home the bacon, bring home the bagels. Instead of take the bull by the horns, take the flower by the thorns.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
In other news of the sorts variety, this is a little grotesque, but I had to bring it up. So, Les Moonves, the former head of CBS. So there was a report. A report by CBS lawyers outlines more allegations of sexual misconduct by longtime chief Les Moonves. This is according to the New York Times. The report alleges that Moonves destroyed evidence and misled investigators as he attempted to protect his reputation and severance payments. By the way, the guy would get $120 million in severance payments. It says investigators had received multiple reports about a network employee who was on call to perform oral sex on Moonves. A number of employees were aware of this and believed that the woman was protected from discipline or termination as a result of it. It cited the report as saying, Moonves admitted to receiving oral sex from this woman, his subordinate, in his office, but described it as consensual. Yeah, she was getting paid to provide a service to him in his office. By the way, his office apparently was like a real creeper kind of a joint. Like he had like not only did he have a bathroom, but apparently like a bed. Like there was a bed in his office. Yeah, Les Moonves, man, dirty dude.
Creepy.
He is a world-class creep.
Really creepy and strange and just dirty individuals in Hollywood and
I'll tell you what,
in the entertainment business.
I know that, every other day there does seem to sort of be some kind of a Me Too thing, and some of the stuff is obviously very, very legit. But then there seems like there's some stuff that's almost like an abuse of the movement.
Yeah.
But I tell you, in this case, uncovering this guy, you're doing the world a service. Same thing with with like Kevin Spacey, Bill Cosby, obviously Harvey Weinstein. I mean, there's more good than bad, obviously, that has come out of Me Too. But man, oh man, get Les Moonves. Get him in jail or something. Yeah, that's just disturbing.
It is. It really is.
I mean,
he's using the company's dime to basically pay for his prostitution.
He's basically living in like a Mad Men world. That's essentially what he was doing. Because if you ever watched the show Mad Men, that's the kind of crap that was going on in that show. But that show is set in like, I don't know, the 50s or 60s. Yeah. It's like a marketing firm, and these guys are all hooking up in their offices and stuff with women that work in there. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you're talking about here.
Yikes! Wow,
disturbing. But I'm sure his wife is going to be there. She's going to be super supportive again. I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Okay, Julie Chen Moonves, you going to stick by his side now? Nuts.
Well,
and that's all we have for sorts.
On that note,
I'm Ron Burgundy. Go yourself, San Diego. Anything you put on that teleprompter, Burgundy will read.
Yes, he will. Oh, poor Ron Burgundy.
I hope you enjoyed our sorts today.
The sorts were definitely interesting, for sure. Hey, this is kind of like a Men in Black, from the earlier.
Yeah.
You got that going. All right. Got that going for us. All right. So thank you guys for watching today. Again, you can hit us up on our many platforms, all 2 of them, which is facebook.com/ShaneandTheBryman. You can hit us up on Twitter @ShaneandBryman. You can find our website, which is www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com, where you can actually go there and you can get taken to all of our stuff. You can get taken to our YouTube page, to our Twitter or Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Easily. It's the best place, the best hub to find all of our stuff. So remember, if you can't find the show on YouTube, which you should be able to, you just type in Sports and Sorts, you can go there and click on it and take you right to our channel, subscribe, and give our videos some thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Comment. We love to hear from you guys. We know that our opinion is just that. It's just one opinion, and we'd like to hear from you too. So be sure to go head on over there and sound off in the comments. You can find me on Twitter @EinhornusFinkel.
You can find me on Twitter at @the_Bry_man.
And we are going to be taking a bit of a break around the holidays. I will kind of keep you up to date with that as best I can. But you can do that on Facebook at Facebook.com/ShaneandTheBryman. You can also find it. Probably it goes right from there and then kind of goes right over to Twitter as well. And you should be able to see it there if you follow us on Twitter. But you'll always find us if you subscribe to the channel, because as soon as we go live, it'll go right to your email if that's how you have it set up, or it'll pop up in your notifications on YouTube saying that, hey, we are live. So that's the easiest way to go. And we're going to be talking more football on Saturday. We have obviously the Sunday games to be talking about, and I'm sure there's going to be some more moves. It'd be awesome if there was just like a move a day. It'd be just great. That'd be awesome.
I think there's going to be a lot.
There is going to be a lot.
By the way, also in the sorts variety here, or if you want to call it the sports entertainment from WWE, very sad news. Dynamite Kid passed away.
No!
Yes, formerly,
British Bulldog.
Of the British Bulldogs. He and Davey Boy Smith were one of the great tag teams of all time.
Were.
That is sad. He was only
them and like the Killer Bees. Those two guys, they were like kind of like the originators of like really tag teams. But then the Killer Bees were cool. But the British Bulldogs took it to the next level.
My favorite tag team all time is still Demolition.
Yeah, they were good.
Action Smash.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just
big time
awesome.
Gimmick. Yeah.
It was great. Great with the faces, with the painted faces, and I used to love their finishing move. Oh, it was great.
Yeah. Rafael Montero signs with the Rangers. is going to sign with the Rangers. That's not a big deal, but it is a deal.
No, it's not.
Marlins announced their coaching staff. That's not all that great. I mean, whatever. They're the Marlins. They're going to be struggling for many years to come. But thank you guys. We'll see you guys again soon. Saturday.
See you Saturday.
See you later, Clint. Thanks for watching,
Bye,
buddy.
Clint.
We'll
Stay
be
classy,
talking
Clint
more
Club.
football. Peace out. Man, we finished right on time. That never happens.
That's good.